Alright, so I'm not going to waste too much time on the intro. You guys know why you're here. But real quick, if you do want a Kratos being a goon, an absolute savage, part 2, get this up to 1,000 likes and I will drop part 2, because obviously Kratos has about 6,000 moments, so it's not going to be hard to make a top 2. This is 15 moments where Kratos was an absolute savage or a goon. And real quick, I want to get your guys' opinion before we start the video. This will only take a second, of course. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that. I did this video series back in the day called Worst Places to Live in Fiction. I'm considering bringing that back, probably once or twice a week to spice up the channel, where I'll make it like Goon style now. So, for example, it would be like Skyrim being the worst place in fiction to live for 20 minutes. Something like that. That's an example. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if y'all want to see that, because I'm definitely down to do that. It would definitely spice up the channel. But anyways, let's get right into this. This is Kratos being a goon. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll give his goon rating at the end. Without further ado, let's begin. First to talk about is just his literally off-rip status. I mean, the son of Zeus, Kratos was always destined to throw hands with people, hand out L's, all that. What made him crazier, though, was he was the GOAT of Sparta. Like, no one could fuck with him. He was basically sponsored by the god of war, Ares, but we know how that deal went. Goddamn, that shit sucks. But yeah, what obviously led to him becoming the rampaging, god-killing monster we love is the tragedy that followed his career with the Sparta. But yeah, just being the GOAT of Sparta itself in such a war-torn, nasty environment, and the fact that bro had like no real ops before the gods started really fucking with him. Like, he was the man. He was the GOAT before gods and all that got involved. And then, first of all, that's not me saying he's still not the GOAT. I'm just saying, like, humans were definitely not fading Kratos before he really ascended. Next, I don't think people think about this enough, and I think reading the novels made me really appreciate the significance of this. Every time you see Kratos beat somebody up, every time you see Kratos take a life, every time you see Kratos run up on someone and cut their shit in half, remember his pale ass is that pale because he's covered in ashes permanently. What are these ashes? The ashes of his former family that he killed. Just having to constantly run, like, imagine if the Punisher had to run around constantly covered in the ashes of the family he accidentally killed. Like, Frank would lose it, probably shoot up another block, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, the fact that he's pulling up on ops and constantly having to deal with that reminder for most and a good portion of the series as he looked to struggle with those nightmares, absolute savage. I mean, he's wearing his scars, but he's giving you scars, you feel me? Next, the time he absolutely devastated the hype train for Thor's sons. We're not even going to use their names because they're shit. They were supposed to, like, if you read the lore behind them, they were supposed to be actual savages. Like, when they were just kids, no one could lift this fallen, I think it was a frost giant, off of Thor. Thor broke its head and it fell on Thor. His sons came in, picked it up, and freed their dad. So they came in with all this clout. They ran into Kratos, and he was not having that shit. Matter of fact, he faded one of them so bad, he beat the shit out of them so bad, that the brother ran in terror. Kratos handed out an L so bad it made the other disrespect his godly lineage. Absolute goon shit. Next, you're going to see a lot of moments in this video where Kratos basically hits the ultimate no use. Like, he's just ignorant and disrespectful at your game on your own turf. Case in point, there are beings in the God of War verse that manipulate fate, right? Kratos didn't like that. In fact, when he pulled up on them and it was a battle of fate, Kratos won. And it gives credence to plenty of arguments in versus battles that Kratos obviously can resist fate and even, possibly forge his own, manipulate his own, resist straight up manipulation. But just the fact he pulled up on the beings that like manipulate everyone's fate, and he was like, don't touch my shit, bitch, and started running the fade instantly, just shows what kind of time my boy Kratos is on. It's demon shit. Next, the time. Okay, let me know in the comment section down below what's the most disrespectful Kratos no you to me, or to you, I mean. For me, personally, it might be Hades. You see, this is because Hades, as you know, the god of the underworld, his job, his one thing as the god of that shit is souls, right? He takes souls in the underground, all that shit, keeps them in Hades if he needs to. With that being said, homie beefed with Kratos because Kratos runs up on everyone. Tried to soul rip Kratos. Kratos said, "You have jokes, dumb bitch." And not only got his shit back, but bullied Hades in the soul match. I'm telling you, I don't know if there's ever been more like video game characters that just blatantly pull up on people and disrespect them at their own shit in their own hood. Like, it's wild, but Kratos does it consistently, and I personally think the way he disrespected in the soul battle Hades was horrible and absolute top tier goon shit. Next, Kratos runs into Hermes. Supposed to be the fastest god, right? He's quick with that shit. In terms of running off on the plug, in lore, to this point, he's supposed to be the quickest, right? Like, he's delivering, he's the one that delivers to all the gods. Like, narratively, he's supposed to be the guy that's fast. With that being said, when it came time to hop in the trenches against the big Kratos, all that quick shit didn't matter. And in terms of quickness, I'm serious. Like, he's like faster than infinite light that can spread across an infinite realm like instantly, like shit like that. He's faster than that, right? Hermes did have clout. Kratos said, F your clout, caught him, and was bullying him and slaughtered him. That's right. Kratos, just endless instances of him beating you at what you're best at. He was quicker than the quickest. It's so disrespectful. Next, the time Atlas couldn't squeeze him. Now, this was a wild moment. I literally remember being young and playing this moment. So obviously, beings like Atlas are some of the strongest beings in lore. And you know, as part of serving the Olympians, Kratos is dispatched to take care of an op in the form of Atlas. You would think Atlas would be stronger, right? Nope. Kratos pulls up on him. He's like, look, bitch, if I beat your ass, they will free me of my nightmares. And this was valid, by the way. Atlas was like, bro, you know, like, Olympians are full of shit, right? And Kratos was like, don't care, bitch, it's all I have. And folds Atlas, just straight up ragdolling him. The being, the titan, god, whatever you want to call him, known for just being strong as shit. In real mythology, separated heavens from earth and all that. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous how strong he is, but that shit did not matter to Kratos, who had to get the job done. Next, the time we found out Kratos just doesn't give a shit about death. Like, literally, he has stated, and it's been shown, that no matter what, Underworld can't keep Kratos. What does this mean? Literally, Kratos is too much of a savage, and he's someone that is too driven to come back, that even if he dies, even if you somehow compromise him mortally, he will literally crawl his way back out of the Underworld and run your fate again. That's right. He literally wills and bullies his way back to rematch clauses. He comes with like an infinite money in the bank rematch. All right, that shit's hilarious to me. But yeah, he literally just bullies his way back to running your fade, which not many characters do, and it's hilarious to see. So he was able to neg Zeus with the power of hope. In this power he obtained earlier on and kind of hid it until it was time to style on Zeus. Zeus being the god of gods, their GOAT, their Michael Jordan, right? He was supposed to be the realist. He even had a plan. He had prep technically. to handle Kratos. But when it got time to get down and fight, Zeus pulled the bullshit. Kratos negged it with hope. After that, Kratos beat the shit out of him. I'm talking about literally was clubbing his face in. It was horrible. Like, don't let Kratos get the drop on you and get stats equalized. He will brutalize you in the worst ways possible by just physical beatings. It's terrible, but the way he did Zeus was dirty and was one of the most savage power-ups we've seen. Next, the time he got into a bit of fisticuffs with the meth head himself, Baldur. Baldur was an amazing villain, by the way. Loved him in the novel and the game. But Baldur pulled up on him, and at this point in the novel, it's actually stated Baldur is the strongest Kratos ever come across. Kratos isn't looking to beef with those tiers of opponents, right? He's retired. He's hanging out with his son, teaching him how not to be a loser, right? Just being a dad and all that shit. Baldur pulls up and is like, no, bitch, we're boxing. And Kratos fights him off anyway. Like, while suppressing himself, holds off Baldur and beats up the OP crackhead himself, causing them to have a rematch clause later, which was obviously amazing. Next, let's go ahead and talk about that rematch, right? So Baldur was able to be so dangerous as someone that was an agent for Odin because he had magic that basically protected him from physical death. Like, it was essentially impossible to physically kill him. Like, no matter how bad Kratos beat the shit out of him, it didn't matter. It wasn't going to kill Baldur. Like, even snapping his neck didn't do anything. Baldur, once that magic was gone, that boy got suplexed. I'm talking prime time ass whooping. It was horrible. Kratos pulled up on him, was like, all right, bitch, I'm going to show you what my hands really are when I want to beat you up. Taps into his real power, right? And starts folding Baldur. It was not close. Like, in the novel, it was brutal. Just him raging. Even after an injury, he just ignored it and went on to absolutely devastate Baldur. Next, the time he literally outclassed the God of War. Now, this is hilarious. As someone, like, tasked with being the next God of War or the protege, he was only a demigod, right? Like, half son of Zeus and whatnot. Ares is not supposed to get outwarred by anybody, technically, right? He's the God of War. Kratos pulled up on him and was better than him at his own shit. That's right, this is another candidate for Kratos styling on people in their own department. Kratos not only beat the shit out of Ares, caught the body and all that, and proved he was just better and more devastating, he took all his powers and could do all the shit Ares could do and took his place. Like, Kratos is a wild boy. He's run up on people, done them dirty, and just completely run their shit on a whole nother level to the point where he's taken over their jobs. Like, it's brutal. But let me know where you rank the Ares disrespect in terms of disrespectful moments for Kratos. Next, the time that in lore, we discover how bad of a folding he gave to the mountain dragon. This comes from the newer game. And according to the journal for the lore, when he was scrapping this mountain dragon, the punches he was hitting that thing with was so crazy that apparently all of Midgard was shaking. Like, Kratos was just slugging it out with the dragon, and this was causing Midgard to completely shake. Just the fact that casual battles like that, like, that's not a weak being, but that's not Baldur, you know? That's not something crazy. The fact that it's getting that extreme for him and that savage of beatings on that level with just kind of regular foes is crazy to me. And it was wild to just casually read that in the lore. Like, he really was just slugging it out and shaking Midgard. Next, the time that Mimir had to basically concede raging Kratos was probably the realest he's ever seen. So like I said, throughout the newer God of War, Kratos is spending a lot of time conflicted because, you know, he's trying to be good. He's trying to be better for his son. He's trying to show his son a good path. He doesn't want to be the raging Spartan he used to be, the maniac that was cutting people down and doing horrible shit, right? No. What he wants to do is he wants to get out of there and raise his son properly with no beef. With that being said, when it was time for him to rage and catch real bodies, Mimir was like, yo, I've seen Thor, I've seen Baldur, I've seen all of them. Kratos, when pissed, might be the GOAT. And in that moment, he was absolutely put over, and you got to give him credit for it. Final moment for the video, make sure to smash the like button. This was late, so you know what? I'll move it down to 900 likes. Of course, I'd love like 10,000 likes, you know, do that shit. But 900 and you'll get a part 2 since I technically dropped this late. But thank you guys so much for watching so far. Let's go over the last moment of the video. This is talking about his roid rage amp in general, right? If you think about it, Kratos literally is a walking steroid rage amp whenever he wants. Like, literally, it's explained to this point in his life, Kratos has the on and off switch for that rage. So he doesn't have to wait to be triggered. He doesn't have to wait for you to beat him up a certain amount for him to get stronger. He doesn't have to wait for him to witness something devastating to get stronger. He can do it whenever he wants. It's literally up to him. Just the fact that he can choose when to kick in that plot armor steroid rage amp is hilarious to me, and it just shows how broken he is. Like, Kratos is usually walking around really not trying to hurt you these days, but when he wants to turn up, he can literally do it on site, off rip, 24/7, whenever he wants. Goon shit. Okay, so we've gone all over his moments for this video. Based on the evidence from this video, where would I rank him as a goon? I gotta give him at least, I think he's base tier 4. I think he's at least tier 4. He's the highest tier. I mean, Kratos, his whole legacy is running up on people and styling on them, usually on their turf. For that, we got to give him his flowers and his tier 4 goon status. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Let me know in the comment section what tier you would put Kratos in. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite moment from this video was, and let me know what moment you want to see in part 2. Anyways, it's been your boy YFE, aka Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.